Welcome to COABE's Meet the Author video series, where we sit down with the authors from our latest edition of the COABE Journal and get a sneak peek into their article. My name is Kristen Hempel, and I am COABE's Region 1 representative, and I'm excited to be here with you today with Carol Hill from Florence County Adult Education and the author of Mid and Post-COVID-19 Student Hopes for Adult Basic Education Participation, Implications and Applications, which is featured in our recent issue on Lessons from the Pandemic, Voices from the Field. To start us off, Carol, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners, telling us a little bit about your background in adult education and what you're doing today?
Sure. So I am Carol Hill, and I'm currently the director for Florence County Adult Education. To give you a little bit of geographical context, Florence is about 60 minutes from the Myrtle Beach coastline and about 15 minutes from the Darlington NASCAR Raceway. And we are a town that is small enough for a lot of people to know each other and to spread a lot of things word of mouth. And we're large enough to have a local college, technical college, a local four-year university, as well as a local regional medical center and a lot of manufacturing and business resources. So it's an honor to be a part of that program. To give you some context for me professionally, I began my professional career in business and spent a number of years serving McBurgers and McFries to McPeople and making some McMoney. And from there, I transitioned to a quality control person with a medical manufacturing company. And at some point, I decided that for me, the bottom line was not somebody else's bottom line. And so I decided to get into a career that I thought I could make a difference and could do something really important every day. So I became a teacher. And I was a teacher, a coach, a teacher in residence for South Carolina for the Teacher Recruitment Center. I was a freshman academy coordinator, a high school principal, and currently an adult ed director. And it's an honor to be with you today. As a practitioner, a researcher, and a writer, I really trust the process of building community in order to support adult learners and leaders. And again, thanks for having me.
Thank you for that great introduction. I loved getting a little peek into not only where you are physically located, but also your incredible professional journey. I think that speaks probably to a lot of our professionals, right? We're in this because we're passionate about it, and we've gotten here through quite a number of different routes, but we're excited to be here. So, just digging in a little bit, the pandemic was a game changer, right, for us as a society and as a field of practitioners. But I'm curious about what it was that particularly motivated you to write this article for the COABE Journal.
Yeah, so I think that there are a couple things going on. One, that as you said, COABE, sorry, let me start over if I may. And there are a couple of reasons. One is the COABE Journal is really a practitioner's journal. And so as a practitioner, I felt like we had some messages that might be of value to the COABE readers. And in particular, COVID, because of the nature of our adult basic education participants, a lot of volatility. COVID wasn't the first or the last or the only life-threatening and livelihood-threatening challenge that they have faced. And it just so happened that at the time we were conducting some action-based research. It continues longitudinally. And when I saw the topic of lessons learned from COVID, it seemed to really dovetail well with the action research we'd been doing, asking our students, what are some things that you hope to gain from being a participant with adult education? And it also dovetailed really well with, I thought, some of the messages that are important for adult education practitioners to hear around mindset of how do we view our participants, as well as promising practices, some things that they could take with them and were wash and ready to wear, and that hopefully they could make use of. And then the COABE journal itself is such a practitioner's journal that that felt like the right audience and the right time.
Excellent. Yes, I saw that you had referenced that history of both failure and resilience that our learners have, and what a powerful notion that is. And I love that the research on mindset and all of that. And it was exciting to see how you took that and really brought it into what we are doing with our students. So how do you think that adult practitioners benefit from reading your article, and how will that then transfer to their learners for a benefit for their learners?
Yeah, so to stick with the two spokes, one of mindset, one of the things that I introduced in the article that I hope for a number of our practitioners is not new, is the idea of thinking about our adult ed participants as investors. And when we use the phrase investors, then we bring different connotations to that. And part of that connotation is that they have something to offer. Something else is that they are self-directed in what they're investing, and that they're looking for value-added opportunities. And so my hope is that more of our practitioners will begin to think about their students as investors. And with that in mind, that the natural flow from that is that we're looking to know more about what our students are thinking, what they hope in coming to us they might accomplish, what we might do with them and for them, and what they're trying to do for themselves. Because it's really important that we don't assume that we know what our students want and need, especially during this time of COVID. As a program, we really wanted to hear from our students, not make assumptions about our students, because it felt like we needed to be the most adaptive organization possible during that time. And so that's where the mindset part comes in. And then the promising practices part comes in, is that I'm hopeful because the article offers these surveys that were made for adult basic education population. They've been tested over now 3 years with an adult basic population. And so there's a certain amount of integrity to them. And I'm hoping that that programs will look at them and say, yeah, we could also benefit from knowing what our students are thinking along these lines, and that they might engage in their own practices and their own action research, if you will, so that they have data that from their students that informs their decisions for their programs. And I'm pretty excited about other people joining in on this conversation.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciated how intentional you were with designing the surveys, and how you were really looking to see how hope fuels success, and even in the way that you crafted the questions, feel smarter versus get GED. I think that pushing us to really be that thoughtful all the way through our programming is such an important factor here. So what are you hoping that your readers will take away from the article?
Well, I'm hoping that the practitioners will think about their own conversations that they're having within their own programs, and really revisit some of their practices and how they might be honoring student voices. And because COABE Journal is also read by adult student population, I'm really hoping that the students will feel empowered reading the student voices in the article. That they'll feel empowered to continue and persist in their own journey that they're doing for themselves and their families, and that they'll feel empowered to be advocates and voices within their own programs.
And another part of it that for me was a sort of a thought piece that I'm going to make sure I talk with people about in my conversations, is how you were looking at it becoming a healthcare conscious system, and really changing that dial from, what our rules are to what our norms are. And because, you're saying because we care about our own and others' health, we will. And just thinking about how important that kind of conversation is on a program-wide platform, just like you said, bringing in those student voices and their concerns and their priorities. I really loved that phrasing as well. So thank you for that. Are there other, additional comments that you would like to share with us at this time?
Well, I will say that seeing this data, and I hope this for other programs, that they experience the same cathartic and really inspirational moments. We were thinking of ourselves as a program that offers opportunities for students to be prepared to take the GED and earn some high school credits and maybe get some workplace skills. And when we saw the student data, our own student data, these people that sat in our classrooms every day and walked our hallways and participated in our workforce trainings, and we recognized from what they were saying that the top two reasons they hoped, or the reasons they came to us and what they hoped to get, was one, to build a better quality of life, and two, was to fulfill a promise to themselves. That was a real game changer for how our whole program viewed who we are, why we came to work, what we could offer, how we could speak to students, how we could honor them, and to add on to that the pieces that were family oriented and that were vocationally oriented, and the fact that they wanted to open doors for the future education, not just get the GED. So it's certainly my hope that other readers will get into that, and we'll take something away from that. It was really 33 years ago that I came into education wanting to do something important every day, and I feel like I've been living the dream. And so I want to thank COABE for broadening the potential influence of our student voices and our programmatic practices. And I hope you enjoy the reading.
Well, thank you very, very much. I always love to see how our students are being engaged at the program level, at the class level, the program level, the state level, the national level. And this is just an excellent example that I hope the field will embrace and continue to roll out. But like you said, enter into that conversation. It seemed like that deepening of staff collaboration as a result of hearing student voices was an important part of the journey for you all. And I hope that continues to be a part of the journey for our colleagues around the country too. So thank you for taking the time to talk with me today and to learn together. We really, truly appreciate your dedication to the field of adult education and are grateful for the impact that your work is making in the lives of our learners around the country. So now, listeners, if you have not already read this article, I encourage you to do so by accessing the Lessons from the Pandemic edition of the COABE Journal. And you can do that at www.coabe.org. And there you can click on the Journal tab to buy either individual articles or the edition in its entirety. So don't miss out on learning more and getting access to these surveys. Certainly hope you will enjoy it as much as I did. So thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you perhaps at the conference.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.